Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. This is the Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the newest installment of When Good Ideas Go Bad. This time around, in honor of October, since every Saturday video this month is horror related, we'll be discussing the Alien vs. Predator films, which were an excellent example of a good idea going bad. First off, a little bit of backstory. The initial concept of Alien vs. Predator was first done by Dark Horse Comics in 1989 as a miniseries, which has since been adapted into a novel as well. Let's just say there's some very striking similarities between the miniseries and the first movie. Of course, there are also some huge differences. Anywho, so some of the things that, maybe they did wrong in the AVP movies. First off, borrowing elements from the 89 comic book instead of either adapting the comic book completely, which really the only major change I could see making sense would be changing the colony backer from the Chigusa Corporation to Weyland-Yutani, just for the sake of simplicity. It's a name that Alien fans recognize, and it makes things easier to just put it all in the same universe. Or a completely original story could have been written around the concept of aliens versus Predator. Now, the borrowed elements I mentioned from the 89 comic book. First off, we have a female protagonist who in the end is blooded by one of the Predators. In the 89 comic, it was Machiko Noguchi, the colony administrator on the planet Ryushi. In the movie, it was Alexa Woods, played by Sana Latham. Another thing was the fact that the setting was a traditional. The main setting of the story turned out to be a traditional proving ground for young hunters. In the case of the comic, the planet Ryushi. In the case of the movie, the pyramid. Another concept that was borrowed but not in the first movie was the wolf predator, as he's referred to quite often in AVPR, or AVP Requiem, which in his appearance seems to be based upon the Broken Tusk Predator character from the initial Alien vs. Predator comic series. But really, appearance is pretty much where it ends, as Broken Tusk in the comic was basically like the drill sergeant for the Predators in training. That's the best way I think to put it. Other things that really went bad, there were pointless changes made to Predator weapons. The spear became slimmer and more metallic in appearance, as opposed to what we saw in Predator 2, especially where. Also, I'm pretty sure it was made shorter, but the spear, as seen in Predator 2, it extended to about the same height as the Predator himself, and it simply had the 2 points, and like I said, it would probably extend out all the way to about 7 feet long, and somehow it would then collapse, and it means that actually was shown in the movie made sense to, I would say, about 4 feet in length. It was also at its center about, I would say, probably 8 inches in diameter. Also, the disc or smart weapon from Predator 2 went from having just 2 retractable blades on the 2 ends to 5 retractable spines on one side. Don't get me wrong, the spines have a more sleek look, but the Predators just don't seem like the kind to favor aesthetic over use. Also, the size of some of the function of the wrist blades, namely, seem to change. If for one thing, the fact that they could be flipped over, and seem to be, like I said, did seem to be larger in size, and noticeably so. Also, the net weapon, that was also changed from having simple four spines which went into a wall, 4 points that went into a wall, and just basically just sliced up whoever was under it, to having actually, drawing the net in. Another place where both movies screw up is the Gore Factor. First off, the original Alien vs. Predator movie was rated PG-13. Now, the Alien and Predator franchises are both extremely gory movies, extremely gory in general. Hell, in Alien, the birth of the xenomorph is a rather gruesome sight when it pops out through the chest. And yes, you don't have to show every single xenomorph being born. Just, hey, one. But with also the Predator movies are get pretty gory as well, just because of trophy hunting, which is what the Predator does. And it was a disservice to both franchises to make the movie PG-13, I believe. Now, AVPR, AVP Requiem, which I will be abbreviating to AVPR for the purposes, went overboard. Yes, we saw there was a skinned body, which harkens back to the first Predator movie, and actually both Predator and Predator 2. Honestly, both of them have moments of a body hung and skinned, at least one. There gets to be some pretty gruesome stuff in the trophy hunting moments with the trophy hunting stuff with Predator stuff movies, and it kind of, they really didn't go much into that, because the Predator in Requiem isn't trophy hunting. He's there to clean up. So, okay, but then they seem to put all the gore factor on the aliens, especially, and this was honestly very disturbing to me, the Predator-alien hybrid's use of pregnant women as incubators. That just does not sit well with me. It's like I said, went overboard. It went too far. Maybe they were trying to make up for the lack of gore in the first one, but still, there's a point where you just kind of say, maybe we shouldn't go here. Then there, of course, are tons of inconsistencies between the two movies themselves and previous Alien and Predator movies. First off, we have the fact that between 1 and 2, the Predator weapon seemed to be made of what I'm going to refer to as plutonium, which is a metal that is vulnerable to various things as demanded by the plot. For example, in the first movie, one of the xenomorphs ends up being encased with a net weapon. This of course, this creates the grid alien that we see throughout the movie. But that acidic blood manages to allow for the xenomorph to get loose. And then we have constant points where it seemed like Predator weaponry, especially the wrist blades, really popped up in this to me. With in the first one, oh hey, Predator used their wrist blades on an alien, and oh look, the blade is all charred from the acid. But then in the finale of 2, when the wolf predator and the pred alien are having their final battle, the wolf sticks his wrist blades right through the pred alien's skull. Doesn't seem to affect it at all. Like I said, it just seemed to be like the weapons were made of plutonium, which the best way to describe that would be excellent. They would have, how to put it, exceptional uses as the plot needed them to. Another thing, date, and this is, I think, more just something on the writers of AVPR than anything else. AVP took place on 10/10/04. It is mentioned in the actual movie that the date is October 10th, 2004. And then in AVPR, we have this jerky guy because hey, what's the movie set in the American suburbs without a jerky guy, right? Makes a crack about Halloween being in October to one of our main-ish characters, even though in all honesty, it can't be any later than October 12th. That seems like pretty close to Halloween. Well, pretty close. Less than 20 days away, right? Then you've got the fact that, at least in the first one, okay, the first one takes place in this multiple millennia old pyramid, which seems to show no structure, no problem with structural integrity at all. So one would think that when one of the predators picks up an alien by the tail and swings him like a ragdoll into one of the pillars, that, well, hey, he swung it head first, that would be it. Bug on windshield, right? Nope, it goes through the pillar and through the next pillar and the next one, and it just, I just can't buy that a xenomorph is that durable, especially when, again, this is probably the inconsistencies of there being two different writing crews on each movie, a different writing crew on each movie. Predator in AVPR manages to kill a predator or an alien by stepping on its head and squashing it. Yeah, like a bug. Sounds like kind of are bugs. Another big deal to me, the gestation period of the xenomorphs seem to be dialed back greatly. Now, it's never said exactly how long it is in either Alien or Aliens, but it seems to me that you had at least 12 to 24 hours. I would say we'll call it 18 hours. From the point where Kane got the face hugger on his face to the point where the chest burster popped out of him. We'd say, like I said, we'll call it 18 hours. In AVP and AVPR, it's more like maybe 2 tops. That's just basically saying we need aliens for plot. We don't want to draw things out. We want to boom, boom, boom. Like no. That's sloppy writing. I hate to say it. Also, as I recall, in both Alien and Aliens, it is said that the acid blood of the facehugger loses its acidity after the facehugger dies. Now, presumably not immediately after. So, certain things like using, quickly pulling off, we'll say an appendage from an alien and using it to mark oneself or mark one's helmet. Okay, yeah, that works. But the fact that the lead predator in AVP had an alien finger with a dab of acid on it for most of the movie, and was still able, that this acid was still acidic. Just no, it should have dissolved. The acidity should have lost its acidity. Now this is an AVPR drive. Okay, Pred Alien, really cool idea, right? Combining both into one. Now, okay, that's all well and good, but for the entirety of the movie, the monster, it's cloaked in shadow. Now, hey, that's great. Look at the original Alien. Look at the original Predator. We hardly see the creature until the end. It's not till the end of the movie where we really get a good look at that son of a bitch. And then it's like, whoa, that's what it is. Okay. We never really get these. It's not like where you see the creature and it's just like, oh, that's the creature. Okay. No, this is like, oh, that's it. Okay. But and hey, that worked. That's great to keep it cloaked in shadow. But you've got to have one point of, here's a lit up scene with the creature. And they just didn't do it. Which really just kind of made it seem like maybe they didn't really have I don't know. For whatever reason, they dropped the ball on that one. Now, I'm not going to... Now, yes, these are not great movies. These are not good movies. These are passable at best on a good day. But they do have their moments. For one, the first AVP movie, the pyramid itself was a really cool idea. Yes, it's what, especially with moving around, changing how it looks, and yes, that whole concept has been done before in numerous other movies. For example, if I remember correctly, Cube did it, Cube was not the first one, nor was the last one, and that's fine. But it was still a really neat idea. The backstory connecting the three races, the xenomorph, the predator, the human, and humans, was actually very well explained, and it made sense. It actually made, when it's explained by the character Sebastian, it makes sense as he's reading it through the hieroglyphics. It makes sense, and it's always nice to see Lance Henriksen in an alien-related movie. Especially cool having him as the founder, pretty much, of Weyland, what would become Weyland-Yutani. I presume the founder. But I'm still not entirely sure what I think of linking what will become Weyland-Yutani to both creatures. I kind of like the concept of, someone of Ripley basically coming back 57 years after her ship, disappeared, and saying, and explaining about this creature, and someone saying, hey, that would be really cool for our bioweapons division. We should look into this thing. But whatever. Okay, pros for AVPR. First off, seeing the Predator homeworld for the first time ever, at least on film. I haven't read all the comic books, or even remotely close to all the comic books, so they may have been shown the comic books, but still, it looked really cool. It made sense for their race, a technologically advanced warrior race. It made perfect sense the way it looked, and I would love to see more about that, more about their homeworld. But I'll probably have to go for their quote-unquote expanded universe. Like I said, the end scene wherein a Miss Yutani is given the combined plasma casters from the Predator. Like, I'm still 50-50 on tying the company's past to both creatures. It has its high, its up points, has its low points. Now, in both movies, I do have to say, our primary characters are at least decently developed. I mean, you know, their motivations make sense. You don't have any of your primary characters who you're just like, wait, why the hell are you doing this? And so yeah, but that's all I got. In all honest, well, that's all I got for going over the various ways that the AVP movies were really screwed up. Best way to fix them, in my opinion, wait a while longer, then maybe revisit the concept, especially after supposedly, as I recall, Ridley Scott intends to make a Prometheus trilogy, and with one movie already done and one movie coming, and then presumably another one after that. Wait till that's taken care of, and then go from there. Work in the future era, not the present. But that's me. That's my thoughts on how to improve the franchise, especially seeing as how the Predator part, well, they're both kind of stagnating theatrically. As much as I enjoyed Prometheus, not exactly in the majority on that one. But anywho, that's all I got for now. We'll be back on Wednesday for the weekly TV roundup, as usual. And then we'll be back again next Saturday with our last October video. So, anyways, until then, first off, of course, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to both are down below. As always, live long and rock hard.